Right, let's rock and roll. So today I am back with my August 2016 wrap-up. I read 5 books in total in August, and that's all I need to say really. You know what one of these is, you're not a fool. So the first book I read in August was Peter Pan. I love Peter Pan, and this was a reread for me. I read it on the plane on the way back from Florida. If you are eagle-eyed, you'll notice that the bookmark is still in it, mainly because I don't want to completely 100% finish it, because if I completely 100% finish it, then I send them home, and I'm not ready for that. So I technically read the whole thing because I read it to where I wanted to read it to, and then I left it alone because I don't want it to end. I read it a while ago when I was a child. I was about 10, 11 when I first read it, because my stepfather bought me a big box of children's classics, which I still have and I still love. But I bought this particular copy in Florida. We went to Florida's biggest bookstore, and it's like a pocket-sized little copy that I can have in my handbag, and I want to just sort of be able to pop one of my favourite books in my bag and take it around with me and just sit and read it wherever I want. So this copy felt like mine when I picked it up. I know it probably sounds weird to people who don't read as often as we do, but to you and me, that's normal. That's perfectly fine. It's a lot darker than I remember. It's nothing like the Disney version, which I have tattooed on me. It's so dark for a children's classic. Like, I know a lot of children's classics are quite dark if you pick them apart, but this is openly dark. Like, Smee is Irish, that's not the dark bit, and he has a sword called Johnny Corkscrew because when he stabs someone, he twists the sword around in the wound while he laughs. Tinkerbell swears like a sailor. She calls Peter a silly ass all the time, and she's so stroppy, and I love her. Like, this reread made me connect more with Tinkerbell on a spiritual level, and I like that a lot. Peter himself is a really arrogant twat, but there's still something about him that I absolutely adore and will always adore him for. He lives for stories and he never wants to grow up, which I think sums me up pretty well, and that's why it's my favourite story. Moving on. The next thing I read was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, parts 1 and 2. I got off the plane from Florida, I slept in my house for about 12 hours, then I got up the next day, I ran straight to Waterstones and I picked up my pre-ordered copy. I read it on the train home, back to see my mum, and I was really disappointed in it. I have a full review on this book. I really don't want to talk about it any more than I already have. I'll pop the link in the description to my review of this. Oh, it makes me sad. Because Harry Potter and the Cursed Child made me as sad as it did, the next book I picked up in August was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I wanted to return to the master at work and read a Harry Potter story done properly, and this gave me everything I was looking for. Like, there's so many things in this that highlighted just how bad The Cursed Child was in comparison. Like, I know it's a play and blah blah blah, they're different, whatever. It was still bad, like, come on. So to return to the old stories and back to how it was to grow up with Harry Potter, yeah, just this. Starting off with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I think we're picking up on a theme here. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was the next book I read in August. Again, fantastic. And it just reminded me that the films of Harry Potter didn't do Ginny justice. Like, she wasn't given the full character development she was given in the book. She really wasn't. And reading both the first book, which she had more of a role in than that she was given in the films, to this book where she was fleshed out a little bit more and we found out a little bit more about who Ginny was as a character, just reminded me how great she is. Like, she's really good character. And I think people who have just seen the films forget that she came from a really good base, and we shouldn't forget that. So I enjoyed reading this again. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Oh, what a surprise. I really loved reading this again. I love Sirius Black. I think he's a really good character. Fred and George will always be my favourites. I really, really love Fred and George, and you get to see a bit more of them in here with the Marauders map and giving it over to Harry. And I really love Fred and George, and I can't wait for the next few books where they get a bit more fleshed out as people, and I really, really, I'm so excited to carry on. It's just been really, really happy this past month, just rereading everything I read as a child. I just think you should do that every now and again. Books that make you happy, you should always go back to once in a while and read them from a fresher perspective and see if you still feel the same way about them. Because you can be in love with a memory, but when you're actually confronted with the real thing, your opinions can change, and I'm so glad when I'm confronted with Harry Potter, my opinions and my feelings, I revert straight back into a child. I spent all of my money in Florida in Diagon Alley. We went to Universal Studios and I blew my money in Diagon Alley. I bought 2 wands, this t-shirt, quite a lot of chocolate, a train for my stepdad, and all these decorations on my wall here are all from Harry Potter World. It's so magical. Like, I can't believe that all of that came out of the imagination of one woman, and it's really impressive. And as someone who writes, it's really, really, really good for me to just go back to someone who I look up to and just sort of roll around in her imagination for a little bit. That was everything I read in August, and if you want to stick around, you know what to click, and I'll see you next time.